One of the biggest problems for Amazon FBA sellers is getting overwhelmed. There's so many things to do, from product research, communicating with suppliers, shipping companies, managing PPC, and even responding to customer reviews and emails. Because of this, you can spend way too much time on the day-to-day management of your business and not enough on growth. And the solution to this issue is hiring a virtual assistant. Watch this video to learn how to hire a VA and how to work with them in the best way possible to help automate and grow your e-commerce business. Hello, Connor.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me today.
I'm very well, Connor. How about you?
Yeah, doing well. Just closing out my day here in the States, but excited we're able to do this.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to seeing what you have in store for us. So I think you can share your screen and we'll get going.
Awesome. Let me do that now. And let's just... Nice. Can you see that all right?
Looks good.
All right, awesome. So you already gave me the intro, so I'll just dive right into it. Just a quick background on myself. I've been an entrepreneur in the e-commerce arena for the past 8 years now. In college, I started my first business with my business partner. His name is Nathan Hirsch, and we've been working together for the entire 9 years or so. Our first business was selling on Amazon, and we were mainly drop shipping from suppliers and manufacturers around the United States. And with that first business, we sold over $25 million worth of product. So, we were thrown right into the fire. We didn't know much about Amazon at the time, but we were forced to learn about it and build a team around it. And that's where a lot of my experience with hiring initially came. And over the past 3 years, I've been building a freelance marketplace called freeup.com. And we'll talk about it a little bit later, but it's all about helping e-commerce businesses find reliable talent online. So just a little bit about myself so you kind of have a little bit of background.
Awesome.
And just quickly, today we're going to cruise through a number of topics. I'm going to talk quickly about some mistakes that you may run into when you're outsourcing and then how you can avoid them. We'll talk quickly about how important onboarding a virtual assistant is. I think a lot of business owners overlook that. Some tips for how you can communicate with a VA if you don't have too much experience. And then finally, where you can find these VAs for your Amazon business or for your e-commerce endeavors. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. And as we were talking earlier, if you have any comments on what I'm talking about here, feel free to chime in as well.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Awesome. So the first one, and I ran into this a lot when we were running our first business, and I think it's one of the biggest questions that we still get from our clients and from business owners is, what do I outsource and how do I find the right person? So this is something that often comes up as business owners run into the issue where they have too much on their plate or they need an expertise in something that they don't personally have. And so the solution, and this is something we've been practicing for years, is we take time set aside where we write down all of the tasks that we currently have on our plate. We figure out which ones are easiest to complete and then down to the hardest to complete. And we always try to take off the easiest first. So if we're spending 2 hours per day on an Amazon or e-commerce task that could be handled by someone else, let's say managing inventory or fulfilling orders or answering customer service emails, this could be something you could take off your plate. And then, yeah, go ahead.
It makes sense to start with the easiest stuff as well, right? Because it's going to be easy to train people up on that. And that's a good point. Because a lot of people, I think, intuitively would think, oh, well, I want to take away the hardest things that I do. But actually, that's going to be really difficult to train someone to do if you find it difficult.
Yeah, agreed. And the simpler ones, most of the time, you'll already have your own process for it. So if you find someone that has some background of doing it with another company or, with by themselves, you can easily bring them in and get them trained up on it really quickly. The next mistake, I think a lot of people run into this, and again, I did this when I was running my own Amazon business, was you look too much at the dollar sign. So maybe you hear from a friend that they hired someone for $1 per hour, and that's what your expectations are going into hiring. And the reality of it is you're always going to pay for what you get. You may be able to find someone for $1 per hour, but chances that they actually have experience and are great at being a VA and have really good English skills are much slimmer. So, my advice is always be realistic about it. Go out and talk to people who have done a lot of hiring in the past and ask what they would be comfortable with spending on certain skill sets, and then make your judgments from there. But don't think that you're going to be able to get anyone for $5 to $1 per hour. And then the third mistake is not diversifying the tasks in your business to multiple virtual assistants. So another common dilemma we'll run into is a business owner has 5 things they want to take off their plate. They all require slightly different skill sets. Using Amazon as an example, let's say product sourcing, product listing, order fulfillment, and customer service and advertising, right? And the question is always, should I hire one person to do this, or should I hire 5 different people? And my advice is to hire 5 different people, because you don't want to get into a situation where you have one person that does everything for your business. They have to leave for whatever reason, and all of it falls back onto your plate, and you're kind of back at stage 1 fighting to catch back up to where you had gotten to.
That's a good point. Very good point.
So those are some common mistakes and some solutions to them. The next one that I want to talk about really quickly is how you onboard a virtual assistant. I think a lot of people just assume that they can jump right into the task and there isn't much work to be done on their end. But if you think about hiring a full-time person or even a part-time person coming into your office, you should have some sort of training process or onboarding process. And so that's kind of what I'd like to talk about next. So the first thing is set up a meeting with them. Once you've found someone you want to hire, set up a meeting so you can actually have some time with them. And then you want to go through a number of things. The first thing is you want to share about your business. So tell them what's important about your business, what the goals are, where you're headed with it. The more invested the VA is in what you're doing and what you're building, the more motivated they can become towards working for your business. The second thing is you want to share very clear expectations. So if you're looking to hire someone to help you source products or source suppliers, you may want to ask them an estimate on how quickly they generally create relationships for their clients, or how many leads you can expect them to go through in an hour of time that you give them. Kind of going through these expectations will give you a better idea of what they're able to complete. And another thing that's mentioned there is what's their schedule. So, do you want them working on your hours? Is it more flexible? Talking about those things are important. And then the last thing, which is I think the most important when it comes to working with a VA, is communication. So you want to be very clear on how your VA should give you updates. And we're gonna dive into that a little bit more in the next slide, but make sure that you talk to them about this up front. You don't want a situation where you think the virtual assistant has disappeared, but they really just weren't given great expectations for how to give you updates.
Yeah. There's actually something I can add here. I think they're really good points. Something from my experience would be with respect to onboarding. Whenever you are going to onboard someone, make sure you document what you're saying to them, whether it's in a video or in Google Docs, because, you are going to have to hire people again in the future, and to have to go back and do it all from scratch is frustrating. So that's a mistake I made. So for sure, yeah, make sure to document.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Having a Google Doc, and we love using those, that, you know, you can walk through the process with multiple people. That's going to be so helpful over the long run. Awesome. And then, like I said, communication is just the biggest thing with virtual assistants. And these three strategies here are exactly what I do with the VAs that help us run our company. And it's what we've been doing for years. So the first thing, which is very simple, is ask the VA to give you daily check-ins. So if you agree to a VA working for 2 hours each day, let's say, ask them when they start their work to check in with you and say, hey, I'm starting to work for the next 2 hours. I'll be online and be working on the project. And then at the end of that work, those 2 hours, ask them to check out and give you a short summary of what they completed. So at all times, you have an idea of when they're online, you have an idea of what they're working on, and you can let them know a communication channel that works best for you. We happen to use Skype, but I listed some other ones that are very common for people to communicate with VAs. On top of that, you can also do weekly one-on-one meetings. So, you know, this could be a 15 to 20-minute meeting. You jump on Skype with them or whatever method it is, and you have a chat with them. You kind of give them updates on the business. You ask them how they're doing, ask for updates from them, and then maybe give them more projects if they're getting low on whatever you initially gave them. But it's a great way for you to stay in touch with them, get to know them a little bit better, and keep them involved in what you're doing with your business. And then finally, once you get to the point where you have multiple VAs running your business and helping you grow your company, you want to hold all hands meetings every week. So choose a time, Monday at 10 a.m., you know, Thursday, whatever it is, however you like to do it, and set up that time where all of your VAs come together with you. You can provide updates, you can keep them motivated, and you can keep pushing them towards the goals that you have as your company. So, you know, those are some things that you can make sure to do with VAs as you're keeping up with communication. Do you have any others that you like to do when you're working with other people, or that you found useful to keep communication going?
Yeah, there's probably one or 2 points I can add. I mean, first off, I would say I really like that 3-point structure you put in place there. One thing I found from working with my VA is that I prefer, you know, only urgent updates on a Messenger, like only urgent updates on Skype. And then if it's a task that isn't top priority, I prefer to receive an email about it, because it's quite distracting.
Yeah.
As running a business to be pinged constantly on Skype. So I think setting expectations there in terms of what's a priority or an urgent matter, that's fine. You can message me on Skype about it, but you know, if it's not super urgent, an email is probably better.
Yeah, that's a great point. And every business owner has their own preference. So it's just something to think about as you're setting this up for yourself. Make sure it adjusts to how you like to do business. And then the last thing on this slide, just to make sure that you're always valuing your time, is a little tip is to do that activity that I said at the beginning, where you look at all the things on your plate. I like to do that every 2 weeks to a month, so I can actually see where I'm spending my time. And you'll be surprised at how many times you'll look at that list and find another thing that you could pass off to a VA. So it's just kind of a good rule of thumb to keep pushing yourself to stay focused on what's most important for your time.
Yeah, I've actually started doing that recently, and it's interesting and humbling as well. You're like,
right.
Oh, that's all I did today.
That's
That's happened to me once or twice. So it is. It's definitely good for that, but also for accountability, I found.
Yeah, that's true. Keeps you accountable to what you should be doing as well. That's awesome. Awesome. So then we kind of gotten to the point now where, you know, we've gone through some of these tips, and if you're thinking about looking to find VAs, you know, we're really happy that we've partnered up with you guys, and we've become a top marketplace where business owners, especially Amazon sellers, can find virtual assistants that have experience in running Amazon businesses, and they can really help you across a large variety of tasks. So the thing that makes us a little bit different is that we actually put all freelancers that apply through our own unique interview, testing, and vetting process. And then we only take the top 1% of those people that apply. So we'd love to be a resource for anyone listening. And you can get a $25 credit when you sign up and use the coupon code FBA15 for watching this video.
Awesome. Really cool.
Yeah, that kind of wraps everything up. I'm happy to kind of chat about anything else. If you had any questions that came off of that or anything else useful for the community. And I also just wanted to give my contact information if anyone wanted to reach out and ask me any questions that they had about the presentation, or if they wanted to talk to me about, just hiring and outsourcing in general.
That's awesome. I think it was a really good presentation, a whole lot of value. And yeah, guys, definitely reach out to Connor there or set up a meeting with him and, try to take, the day-to-day tasks off your plate, get a VA, and you can really then take your business to the next level.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Connor. Cheers. Have a good day.
Cheers.